Ragnarok contains a lot of inspiring stories about characters growing and becoming better. Kratos learns to choose justice over vengeance, Atreus learns to embrace the compassionate and empathetic parts of his nature to subvert prophecy. Freya learns to set aside her mindless quest for vengeance and instead fight to create something better. Thor learns to resist his tyrannical father's will and rededicate himself to his family. These stories are inspiring because they speak to a human capacity to grow, to learn. We are, all of us, every single one of us, flawed. There is something about you that you don't like, something you wish you didn't feel, something you wish you didn't think, something you wish you didn't do. These kinds of stories inspire us because we know we can stop feeling that way. We could break out of that destructive cycle of thought. We could make a different choice and do something better. But as inspiring as those positive stories are, the story arc from Ragnarok that has stuck with me, the one I can't stop thinking about, the one that feels really meaningful and artful, is Sindri's. Sindri, the funny comedic relief dwarf character who becomes the wretched and wrathful destroyer of Odin. It's a storyline that is as fascinating as it is unexpected. It's really, really interesting, because Sindri's story moves in the opposite direction from all those other ones. His story speaks to that frightening human capacity to fall, to break, to feel worse tomorrow than we do today, to make an uglier decision tomorrow than the ones we made today, to be worse. So let's start with the 2018 God of War, where Sindri was first introduced. In that game, Sindri is only a minor character.
Another dwarf. Should we?
No. He is of no consequence.
He's pretty silly and funny, makes for good comedic relief.
You let him touch this again. Come on, then.
He's a video game shopkeeper, in some ways just a glorified upgrade menu. Moreover, he's not even really a complete character on his own. He's really only half a character. He's a package deal. In many ways, he and his dirty blue dwarf brother Brock feel like two halves to a whole character. Sindri is polite, well-spoken, elegant, is comedically repulsed by anything dirty, which is kind of a ridiculous neurosis for a blacksmith to have, since smithing isn't exactly a clean occupation. On the other side of the coin, Brock is gruff, crude, speaks with an unapologetic potty mouth, and is filthy pretty much constantly. Separately, they are fairly shallow and silly characters. Together, they form a completer and more nuanced whole. Notably, both of their story arcs in the 2018 game end with them symbolically merging back together by re-merging their smithing brands. You can kind of think of it like Ratatoskr, the funny squirrel character in Ragnarok. Ratatoskr has sliced off bits of his own personality, who then go off and move and talk and think separately from him, and are all extreme and ridiculous manifestations of aspects of his complete personality. In Brock and Sindri's case, and I don't mean this literally but metaphorically, they sort of feel like two halves that split off from a more complete Ratatoskr-like personality sometime in the past. Again, metaphor for understanding their characters, not a literal theory. In the 2018 God of War, Sindri also serves as a sort of demonstration for how Atreus' character changes over the course of the game. At the start, Atreus is friendly and curious with him. Later, when Atreus is going through his whole "I'm a little piece of shit" phase, he treats Sindri like crap.
Can I tell him?
No.
Tell me what? Did you put this wheel in your mouth? Oh, God. I'll vomit. I'm not kidding. I'll throw up on it.
It is nothing. A family matter.
Oh. Oh. I can tell you a thing or two about family matters.
Let me guess. Your brother isn't as talented as you, and his work is junk.
Those things are accurate. Your point?
It's all you ever talk about, over and over. Do something about it or shut up already.
I see.
Yeah! We're sick of hearing about little people's little problems.
All right. That hurt a little. Let's have a look at your gear then.
Then at the end, when he's being better, he apologizes for it. Sindri isn't so much a character in these scenes as he is a kind of springboard for Atreus' character to bounce off of in different ways, as his own character changes. Beyond all that, there was something that always bothered me about Sindri in God of War 2018. Sindri gives a lot to Kratos and Atreus in that game. He gives out totally free upgrades for Kratos' weapons. He gives them his other smithing services. He gives them information about Magni and Modi. He gives Atreus magical arrows. He even gives them the mistletoe that ultimately allows them to defeat Baldur, which is what sets all of Ragnarok in motion. Sindri is a surprisingly central character in this story when you take a moment to look at it. He's giving them all of this, and he's not getting much back for it. Sure, they save his life from this dragon, and he's technically upgrading the Leviathan axe for free, just so that he has the opportunity to one-up his brother's work, but all Kratos ever does is growl at him for it. For all the growth Kratos has gone through in these games, could someone please teach this huffing and puffing motherfucker to say the words thank you for once in his life?
Thank you.
Oh shit, he said it. Wow. Anyway, there is an imbalance in this relationship. Sindri is giving a lot, and Kratos and Atreus are taking a lot. As a side note, this is not an unusual relationship imbalance for an adventure story. Popular adventure narratives have a lot of examples of protagonists who are given a lot of things over the course of their adventure, things without which they never would have completed their adventures, and those protagonists usually don't give a lot back. As a random example, look at Star Wars and how much Obi-Wan gave to Luke in A New Hope. And then ask yourself, what did Luke ever give to Obi-Wan in return? Not much. A lot of stories about adventurers involve getting lots of help while seemingly giving little back to the givers. God of War's portrayal of Sindri is not unusual in this respect. However, this relationship imbalance only worsens in Ragnarok. At the start of God of War Ragnarok, Atreus and Sindri's relationship has seemingly grown a lot closer. Sindri helps Atreus track down these Jotnar shrines and keeps him safe when Atreus makes the very questionable decision to visit Freya. And most notably, Sindri opens up to Atreus about how he once saved Brock's life, a closely guarded secret he has kept from everyone else, including his own brother, demonstrating just how much he trusts Atreus. A trust which he will ultimately regret. Sindri opens his home to Kratos and Atreus, provides them with safety, shelter, and food, provides Kratos with the components needed to craft the Draupnir spear, provides Atreus with a magical escape stone when he goes to see Odin, a magical escape stone that ultimately saves Atreus' life. Sindri is giving them so much and asking for nothing in return. Not only not asking for anything in return, not receiving anything in return. Or at least not receiving anything good. He gets the ire of Kratos for helping Atreus behind his back. He gets mauled by Bear Atreus for trying to help. And no character in the game comments on this relationship imbalance between Sindri and everyone else. For all their positive growth, neither Kratos nor Atreus, not even Mimir, mentions it, as if none of them even notice, and maybe they really don't. They treat Sindri like he's some bottomless bag of tricks, always ready to give up a new treasure, never needing to be replenished or compensated.
Come in. Come in! Now, if you would just wipe your feet very thoroughly, I'll wait. You're not gonna wipe your feet, are you? Okay then, your bedrooms are there, the kitchen is just over there. Anybody need a snack? Kratos? Snack?
I do not need a snack. The Bifrost is broken.
Now that we've reconfigured these gateways to use Yggdrasil seeds, you won't need a travel table or a Bifrost lamp anymore.
I also used it for light.
Okay, good note. I'll figure something out, but first, come on, let me show you how it works. Do you mind if I fiddle with your bow? Well, you are long overdue for a replacement. Taking advantage of certain materials, ow, structural sensitivity to sonic vibrations has been something I've been meaning to try for quite some time now.
Thanks for, finally trying it. What's it gonna be this time?
Patience. I find it's best to see these things, in action. Whew. There. Oh, take aim at that gate there. But before you loose, say, Scialfa. Sorry, one more thing. Although, these are gifts I'm giving to you, so I shouldn't be sorry and you should be thankful. Anyways, here, please be careful.
It's beautiful. Thanks, Sindri.
It is beautiful, isn't it? It's also very useful. You'll be able to find anything your heart desires with it.
Really?
As long as your heart desires the locations your father and you decide and plot to travel together, then yes.
It is a compass.
Ah, but a beautiful compass. Now scamper off. Got something else for you.
Sindri!
What is it?
Since you're currently lacking a light source, sorry, and have no way of seeing exactly what untold horrors lurk in the dark, these will help. Okay, back to your exploring now. Off with you.
Thanks, Sindri. Hey, wait, what do you mean by untold horrors? There's something I have to do in Midgard.
What? Without me? I thought we were partners.
We are, just wasn't sure you'd want to join me. I'm visiting an old friend.
Oh, I see. Or possibly not doing that, taking into account she's determined to murder you.
She wouldn't really.
Look, I think it's lovely that you see the best in people. I really do. And I want you to continue to see the best in people by not getting yourself murdered. You really should eat. Some people swear by it on almost a daily basis.
I just don't understand. Why is there all this stuff about Loki and the champion and Ironwood if none of it's real? He's just so... Ugh!
Mind if I give you the best advice you've heard all day? And possibly ever? Sleep. That's when all the troubles of your mind work themselves out.
Sure. Fine. Sleep? Sounds great.
I mean it.
I do too. Get out of here already.
Already gone.
Sindri!
Coming!
Before you go traipsing off into the dawn, I thought you'd like to have this back. Well, don't go getting too cheery about it, but you're welcome.
How long will it take?
We'll have to go to Svartalfheim to get the rest of the materials. Not to mention we'll have to visit the lady. Oh. Whew, that's a relief.
Huh?
Ow. Kratos? Whenever you're ready.
Atreus mentions that he thinks of Sindri as an uncle, which is very sweet. And I think Sindri does think of Atreus as family too, or at least as a very close friend. And sure, most people are willing to give a lot to family or friends or people they care about without expecting much in return, besides friendship, trust, and love. I don't think it necessarily would be right for Sindri to start demanding tangible goods in return for the things he does for the people he cares about. But with that said, Atreus and Kratos, as his friends, as his family, should want to do something in in return should express some kind of desire to balance out this relationship, and they don't. They never do. And then Brock is murdered by Odin in Sindri's home by a man that Atreus and Kratos brought into that home. He trusted them here, and without meaning to, they broke that trust. In spite of all their differences, Sindri really loved Brock. When Brock died all those years earlier, Sindri went to literally hell and back again to save his life. Fought for him, almost died himself for him. That's love. That's Sindri giving and giving and giving himself to the people he cares about. The confrontation between Atreus and Sindri after Brock's death is, I think, the key scene of the entire story.
Sindri? Sindri, I'm so sorry.
No. No, I don't want to hear it. You don't know what sorry means.
We're not letting Odin get away with this.
Would that be the Odin you invited into my home?
We were all fooled.
But some of us were bigger fools than others, aren't we? I gave you everything. My skills, my friendship, my home, my secrets, my treasures. And you just kept taking. And now what have I got? Not even my family. You want sorry? This is what sorry looks like.
What can we do?
We. There is no we. There's only you. No matter what the cost. So what you can do is get the fuck out of my sight.
Come, Atreus. Leave it be. Mourn how you wish.
I thought we were his family too.
We were.
Sindri's words are so brutal here. This is what sorry looks like. A broken man, a man who has given too much and lost too much. And then Atreus' response is so sad. I thought we were his family. Kratos is right, they were family. Sindri wouldn't have done all that he did for them if they weren't. He wouldn't have shared that secret about Brock's earlier death if they weren't. But families, like everything else in life, are not unbreakable, are not permanent. I think it would be easy to play through Ragnarok and come away believing that Sindri's fall is entirely a result of him being upset by his brother's murder. But that's really not it. That's a gross oversimplification of his character arc. What's happened to Sindri is that he has been the good guy since the beginning. He has always chosen to be gracious and giving, to do the right thing over and over. And instead of being rewarded in any way, he's been punished again and again. Had the things he cares about most stripped from him. It would have taken a very strong heart to stand up to all that. I don't think any other character in this story could have. This would have broken any of them. It's not fair of Sindri to blame Atreus or Kratos for his brother's death. Like Kratos says, no one could have seen through Odin's disguise. And if Tyr really were alive and captive, it wouldn't have been right to leave him in that condition. Atreus chose to do the right thing to rescue him, and Sindri chose to do the right thing by taking them all in. And for that choice, Sindri lost everything, and Atreus did not. That is what really isn't fair. That's the real relationship imbalance, and there is no fixing it. After Brock's death, Sindri becomes a kind of character we've seen a lot of in the God of War series. The wretched and furious avenging angel who cares only for vengeance. Kratos served that role for the entire first trilogy. Freya and Thor both served that role at the start of Ragnarok, and now it's Sindri's turn. From this moment on, he lives only to punish the one responsible for his pain, namely Odin. He doesn't become evil or anything, his vengeance is focused. Sindri participates in the battle for Ragnarok without allowing any other dwarves to be hurt, destroys Odin's magical cannons without killing the people operating them, and backs off from attacking Thrud when Atreus tells him she's a friend. This is not the kind of mindless violence that Kratos committed when he was in his violent rage phase. I've seen a lot of people justify Kratos' objectively evil actions in the original trilogy because Kratos was treated very unfairly over and over again in those games. But here we have Sindri being treated terribly too, and I don't think anyone would say that Sindri going on a Grease-sized murder spree would be justified here. But then again, no one wins when we play the Suffering Olympics, so never mind. In the final scene, after Odin is defeated, all these goody two-shoes characters who have gone through so much positive personal growth and learned how to move past their need for vengeance demonstrate for the audience all the growth they've gone through by passing up on the chance to destroy Odin. Everyone except Sindri, whose character has moved in the exact opposite direction as everyone else, who now dwells in the same depths of pain that both Kratos and Freya once lived. Interestingly, Kratos, Freya, and Thor's character arcs are all proof positive that Sindri could climb back up out of this fall, but he can't do it alone. Kratos, Freya, and Thor did not pull themselves up out of that darkness by themselves. Kratos needed his wife and son to climb out of those depths. Freya needed Kratos and her brother. Thor needed his wife and daughter. Who does Sindri have now? Who will help him climb back up? Without Brock, without Atreus, what family does he have left? Like Kratos, could he go somewhere else and build a new family? A new life far away from the setting of his pain? I don't know. It's kind of a bummer.
Sindri. Black was.
A hole.
What?
Gets bigger the more you take away.
Oh, yeah. Woo!